Take that. So welcome guys to Mama I Want to Become a Star. I want to be a star. I want to be a star. Mama I want to be a star, so I'll pass it on to our host.
Brand, you know.
Go ahead. You're already there. I'll pass it on to our host. No. And he gonna kick us off and he's gonna start us off. Go on.
Welcome to episode 2 of Mama I Want to Be a Star with my lovely host. Okay. My lovely handsome brothers, you know, in the Lord. P-Man, aka Azuma,
aka Mr. A,
aka Mr. A.
Yeah, I think I'm going with that.
Aka Promise, aka was Mr. P, and my guy Mike, aka take that, and you know, yours truly. Steven, Chuck D, you know, aka Chuck D, you know. And we're back with another one. Hello guys, how you guys doing today?
I'm good, a little tired. It took a long time to set up.
Took a long time to set up.
We're here.
But we're here.
We're here. What's on the agenda, guys?
What's on the agenda today?
Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic for anybody who is thinking of going about the journey of, you know, stardom.
Yes.
It's a topic of sacrifice. Just to give a quick opening, and what do I understand by sacrifice? Sacrifice means giving something or giving yourself onto something to achieve an end goal. Wow. And I know in the time of controversies, there are many connotations around the word, but there is nothing gained if you're not sacrificing something.
I agree.
And you could be sacrificing time, you could be sacrificing parties, you could be sacrificing money, but you're sacrificing something. For instance, if you wanted to gain knowledge, most people go to university, but you've sacrificed money because you could use that money for anything else. So you've sacrificed it to gain that extra knowledge, or you take a course. So I think sacrifice is one thing I talk that I'm always going to keep emphasizing, and I think it's a topic that is important that we explore, especially for people, our audience, people are thinking, you know, I want to go on that journey. I want to be an Olympic athlete. I want to be the best in my industry. What does that really mean for you to be at that level, for you to perform at that high level? What sacrifices and rituals do you have to go through to get there?
Okay. I think all of us should, you know, first define what sacrifice means to us. That was a very good, concise definition.
All right, cool. So basically, sacrifice means to me, just sacrifice, isn't it? Like you give everything you have for that particular goal or what you want to achieve. That's what sacrifice means to me personally. So if I say, okay, I'll sacrifice something, I'm not looking to the left or to the right. I'm just looking straight, because the left could be whatever, money, time, you know, finances, party, what he just mentioned, or friends or other ventures. Until I have perfected whatever I needed to perfect, that's what I'm going for. And that's it. That's my sacrifice.
Okay, good. What about you?
I think just to kind of echo what you're saying, I think on the journey to making the decision to want to be great, making the decision to want to get to the height of whatever you're doing is fantastic. I think the thing that comes after that is you bump heads straight away with like understanding that, okay, there's a cost. There's a cost, right? And there's a cost to anything that you want to do. And maybe the part of what stops people from getting to why don't we have more people that are, you know, why is it 1%? You know, why is it a pyramid? It's the people at that place, people in those highest places, people at the top understand and are willing to pay the cost. So for me, sacrifice is really just the cost of whatever it is you're pursuing, and there are a lot of strands kind of in it to explore as far as like what are some of the what kinds of sacrifice? What stops people from being able to pay those prices? But that's my definition of sacrifice: the cost of whatever whatever good thing you want to get.
That's interesting.
Well, for me, sacrifice simply means putting away to get. So,
that's good.
That's what it basically means to me, putting away to get. There's a quote I heard or I saw somewhere. I've had it on my Instagram for a long time. It goes like this verbatim. The work you have, your freedom is in the work you are avoiding. Your freedom is in the work you are avoiding. So, it's sacrifice is demand and supply. I did economics, my first degree. It's demand and supply. So, and sacrifice, you have to know where you are going. For example, you have to know what you want first. You have to determine what you want first. Then make that decision to make that conscious decision to sacrifice a couple things to get to that goal, basically. So you have a pot belly. First of all, you be honest with yourself that you have a pot belly. Then you start looking you determine the ways that you are going to get rid of that pot belly. And one of those ways is to, you determine that you have to stop eating junk food. You have to maybe fast once a week. Sacrifice. You can't sacrifice without knowing where you're going.
It's amazing.
If not, that is pain. That's suffering. If you're just sacrificing without knowing where you're going, you have to first determine where you're going before you make sacrifice.
So what you're saying is sacrifice without a goal is just pain.
It's pain.
And
so it's suffering.
That's
So now, I want to bring something up here in regards to sacrifice, and now from a Christian context, because we do have like a little bit of, we talk about Christianity as well. So now, that's just what I've experienced, yeah? So there is like a particular person, and he's a Christian, and he's telling me how much he receives dreams, right? It's a friend of mine, right? So he tells me he receives dreams, and he's with me on the phone. We speak like for 2 hours or something like that, right? Tells me he gets dreams, and God is telling him to do this, God is telling him to do that. So then I'm asking him like simple question. Okay, cool. Like, that God spoke to you. You know what you're supposed to do, but why are you not doing it? So then he would tell me, bro, man, it's not time yet. So now every time I hear it all the time from him particular. So then my question is always, okay, cool. Are you what's the issue like? Are you not willing to sacrifice? Or are you not willing to sacrifice? Because ultimately, you do sacrifice in prayer. You go to sacrifice going to church. You do sacrifice of reading and studying. But at what point are you going to literally sacrifice for the things you actually really want? And that's just a question I want to, get out there. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah. For me, I think that scenario, it seems a bit too familiar.
Okay.
In the sense that as an entrepreneur, you can have something called the fear of success. As in, if you do it, you'll be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So you delay doing it.
Wow.
So you're not successful. And it seems crazy, but
wow.
I believe most people know exactly what they need to do to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
You know exactly what steps you need to take. You know exactly what sacrifices you need to make. But most of us just don't. I think that's the fear. And it's not there's a fear of failure. People think if I attempt it, I'm gonna fail. But there's also the fear of if I attempt it and I'm actually successful, then I have what do I do after that? Because I think I heard a sort of like podcast from the late Kobe Bryant, where he said, some people are afraid to get into that place to get that success because they know once they reach it, then what else is there? So it's I think that's probably what he's probably experienced.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Guys, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think that's. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I think that's a. I get that, but I don't know that I identify with that maybe in that way. I think there are a lot of things that prevent people from becoming like the best that they can be.
Yeah.
Right? And if we use the gentleman as like an example, like sometimes the costs or the habits that we built and we kind of get comfortable in those habits. So for example, he's
That's
willing
also
to
good
pray, he's willing to fast, he's willing to kind of do those other things. So he's gotten used to that cost. But because of the way that life works, in that, like, for every new chapter, I oftentimes need to let go of a new thing. And as we get older, it seems as though we get more accustomed to our way of operating. So it becomes difficult to enter another level. It becomes difficult to enter into the things that God might be showing people, because you're used to the way that life is, and you're not...
You're used to the way it is.
Used to the way it is, and so the thing you need to let go of in order for you to now enter another level, it becomes very difficult. We sometimes glory in direction. We glory in what to do. Getting what to do, but that's not the end goal. There's now another part of work that needs to be done, which is now the actualization. But sometimes it's difficult to let go of what needs to be let go of. So I think that's another option as to like what he might be going through. In his situation.
Yeah, I think that mentality has a lot to play. Mentality has a lot to play in things like this. I think success, depending on how you define success. To me, success is not a goal. Success is a journey.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Success is not a goal. It is not when I get there. Success is a journey, because in the trajectory to success, you learn a lot of things. You learn a lot of skills. You learn a lot of mental building that gets you there.
But wouldn't that be progress, though?
Yeah, it's progress.
Yeah.
So success. I was watching a documentary years ago on Donald Trump on Netflix. He said something like, there's a time he went bankrupt, I think in his early 30s, and he said, basically said, he can, even if he gets bankrupt multiple times, he will always end up being rich because of what the knowledge he has gained on the pathway to becoming what he was. So I think, what would you do if you knew you could not fail?
That's a good question.
What would you do if you knew you could not fail? They say the wealthiest place is the graveyard. There are a lot of dreams there. There are a lot of dreams in the graveyard that people were afraid to take. What's the worst that could happen? For example, we are new in this podcast game. And this is something we have been talking about for years, like 2 years, and it was a time we had to take steps. Now, whether we go to the pinnacle or we don't, at least we tried.
Yeah, I get it.
That's a good point.
At least we tried. So what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And I think that's a mentality thing, because a lot of times we are the first, us as individuals, we are the first hurdle we need to cross in progress to success. We are the first hurdle, because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything has been done.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather said something. He said, every boxer has a pitch. The ones that are the best are the ones that have a unique pitch. Everything has been done before. People have been successful in this podcast game. People are still being successful. People have started that are going to be successful. Everybody has a microphone. Everybody's doing podcasts, whatever. But, what are you bringing differently? And for some people it takes longer. Some people it takes them shorter time to
discover that.
Some people it takes them
you
10 years. But the thing is,
you have to make that first.
You have to come into agreement that you have to be consistent. Now, whether we go to the pinnacle or not, we tried.
Yeah.
Well, I just think you. I don't know if I'm fully on board with the whole what would you do if you know you couldn't fail? Because first you have to agree I know you couldn't fail, and that's a hurdle in itself.
Right.
So it should be, I think, it should be, in spite of the fact that you might fail, you should try anyway. Because worst case scenario, you learn good skills. You learn some skill, whether it's good or not. But you learn something different that you hopefully can use to take the next step. So I think what's probably more important on your pursuit is the first step is to probably sacrifice your own self-doubt to bring you into a new place, and then be able to agree with yourself that even if I was to fail, I'm going to do it anyway. And I think that's probably a first hurdle to take.
Can I ask a question? Who is for everybody? For everybody, who is somebody in the world? And when I say the world, I mean like in the world in general. Like it could be an artist, it could be, a pastor, whatever sphere of life. Who is somebody you admire based on knowing their story of sacrifice, that they, things they sacrifice to get to where they are right now? Who is somebody you admire? Let me start from.
No, don't start from me. I'm
starting from you.
No, don't start.
Okay.
How you just drop that question?
Let's
start with Michael.
Everybody
drop that question.
I thought you wanted to make another point as well, right?
No, I did, but it was just.
Or then we go into just make your point and then I go.
So
do you have an answer to? Okay, me, I don't have an answer.
Who is everybody mention two people that you.
Two.
A lot of people.
This guy's already up in
many.
So just mention
Okay, but just
so that I can go around.
Go.
No, not even before you just. I don't want to take us off. I don't want to take us back to kind of what you said, but I think just if the two of you said something, I think it's really important to, because both of you said some really important things, and I think anybody listening really has to understand. I think, and it's something I'm learning from what you guys just said now. You both said two kind of opposite things. One of you, right? But they both work.
Yeah.
One of them, you were talking about like telling yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And then you said, well, telling myself that I should do it anyway, even though I fail.
It's a hard,
and I think
it's a hurdle.
It's the hurdle.
Yeah.
But look at this, right? I think the problem that I have had, and something I'm just now learning, and I think a problem that other people will have, is people don't know how to talk to themselves.
Right.
Because you said that you are your first hurdle, and that's that element of you called your soul. We don't realize that guy is different to the version of you that gets dreams.
Yeah.
And so he needs to be spoken to. Yeah. But we often we outsource the pumping up of our soul and the talking to our soul and trying to figure out what is actually stopping you from moving forward. Because you realize that what I need to hear from myself is, hey man, what if you don't fail? And that might be the question that your soul needs to let its guard down and be willing to invest itself in this new thing. And for somebody else, it might be, well, actually, what? So I think to some degree, we have to learn how to separate the fact that, okay, getting a dream or getting an idea or getting a vision or is one element of me. But I also have to deal with the soul part of me that needs to be talked into taking the next step.
It was Jordan Peterson that said, you have to realize that you're somebody you have to negotiate with.
Yeah.
And I heard that and I thought, first I heard that I thought, wait, hang on, what do you mean? Right. I am me. I could tell myself to, but the truth about it, oftentimes you can't. Oftentimes, you already have habits and you already have constants in your life that you're used to, things that you do.
Yeah.
So for you to now move to the next step, you literally have to negotiate with yourself to say, right, we used to do that before, but now we're going to be doing this.
Yeah.
And that's more difficult than it sounds.
Yeah.
And give yourself the room, because if you're dealing with another person, you would give them the room to make the transition, but you would continue to talk to them. So you almost have to treat yourself as a different person.
Entity.
Do you know what I mean?
But you know, like what you guys said, because the word what came to my mind was the word truth, right? And the reason I'm saying truth is it's like you need to start being truthful to yourself to the extent that you can accept your insecurities, accept your pitfalls, accept everything you think you know about yourself, literally scrap that, and then really go deep into yourself and realizing, okay, hold on, why is it I'm not going from A to B? And what about me taking a journey from A to B is actually hindering me?
And scaring me.
Exactly, it's scaring me, yeah. I like that.
What is it? Like,
I like that, yeah.
Actually finding out from yourself.
Exactly.
What is the actual problem?
And that's what I'm saying. That's where truth comes in. And that's where we, literally all of us, every human has that, where we don't want to really identify and really challenge
tell ourselves the truth.
That truth and say, look, bro, like, you're lazy, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
As an
yeah,
example,
it's
right?
real.
Here's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like,
It's like, you're lazy.
yeah, you're lazy, man.
You give you a bunch of percentage on the table.
You know,
Yes,
somebody, sorry.
Yeah, go on, no.
Somebody said, you know, to in the strive for success or be a star, you know, this is what we're talking about. To be a star or strive for success, you there's something that I think it's just eluded my mind right now.
Somebody said something.
So
about
somebody said, damn.
It happens.
It'll come back.
It happens.
You want to go back to your question?
Let's go back to your question.
So
You asked the question to
Yeah.
to everybody. Like,
to
Everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
You asked the
I've
question.
got it
I
back.
love it.
I've
He's got it back.
You
He's got
said
it
this
back.
too.
I've
Yeah,
gotten
okay,
it back.
I have one.
Wait, let-
So I've gotten it back. I think
okay.
somebody said so sacrifice involves courage, right? To sacrifice or to sacrifice things to propel you to where you want to be. It also involves courage because, like I said before, we are the first, as an individual, as an entity, we are the first stumbling block to our success because we always doubt ourselves first. We always doubt ourselves that, okay, we are going into this podcast game.
Yeah.
Who is going to watch us? Who would listen to us? Look at all this person, they are doing it big. Who wants to listen to us? So we are the first point of, by the first stumbling block that we need to cross over. So somebody said faith and doubt are both beliefs. Faith and doubt are both beliefs.
Yeah.
You choose the one you want. And when you talk about being courageous, courage means acting in the midst of fear, not without it. It's acting in the midst. You are afraid, but yet you still go forward.
Anyway.
That is faith.
You know what's interesting about what you said? Yesterday I was reading the book of Joshua. And the commandment God gave Joshua was what? Be strong and be courageous.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about it is as well, like once he keeps like receiving that word, then he goes to his own people and guess what they're saying? They say, okay, oh yeah, just be strong and courageous. Then we follow you wherever you go. So interesting. Like God is saying that to you, and then the other people they didn't know what was the interaction between you and God. And then you come to me and say, bro, like, be strong. And I say, yes, man. Like, but it's so interesting to know that is the word actually God used, be strong and courageous. And he used the same example of courage. That it seems like that courage is what you take to, it's almost sacrifice of courage, I would say.
Yeah.
The sacrifice of being courageous. And I'm sacrificing myself to do something, what you just said, which I'm very afraid of, which I would normally not do. Yeah, and I think it takes sacrifice,
Just on that very quick, I think I know you want to say that, but just on that, like I would coin it as courage in order to sacrifice.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think courage is a necessary.
Yeah.
There's another conversation of kind of how does it come, but you gave a good point, which was like
I like that.
that, like that the source of courage, which is that scripture. God actually pumped Joshua, said, "Yo, you're about to go into a new season. You're gonna need courage. There's some stuff in this place that is gonna really." You're gonna need some courage to live. So I think courage in order to sacrifice. But I also think that in building yourself up, in believing for that courage to come, there you have to believe what maybe God is saying about you.
Yeah.
This new picture that He's showing you. You have to believe it. And I think that process, there's work that has to be done there before the actual work of the sacrifice, before the actual work of the doing of the building. There's the work of getting yourself to believe that this thing is possible.
Yeah.
Getting yourself to believe, and I think sometimes we skip that work. We go from hearing or the idea straight into trying to implement. Meanwhile, the person that needs to do this work has to change completely because
that's deep.
they have
That's
to be
such a good point.
It's like
You have to be a different
you have to
person.
be a different person, and it's
That's
a
such a
different
good
person
point.
that's willing to let go of these things.
Yeah.
You know, it's another version of you that is willing to let go of Netflix, that's willing to let go of the games, is willing to let go of Xbox, willing to let go of the girls, willing to let go of the parties. If that's another version of you, that's not the you now.
Right.
So you have to talk yourself
Right.
into that new guy.
Yeah.
Every day you're going back to say, okay, no, this is who I actually, this is the new version of me. You go read it, and until that new version on paper enters into your soul, then you find that
And
the thing you need to
becomes
sacrifice,
setting.
exactly, the thing you need to sacrifice becomes a little
Because
easier.
everyone has a
I
different
like that.
setting.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Sacrifice
That's a good
is a huge, ingredient. To,
But I think
go on.
I think, John, sorry to interrupt you,
No,
but
no.
I just think it's just so we sort of like move forward from this area. Is first, you're talking about sort of who inspires, who, someone that's famous, and I think
I'll give two. So let me just rephrase that question. Two. So we are mentioning two people,
two
right?
people, okay.
One person, one person living or dead, and one person biblically.
Biblically and living on there.
All the biblical ones are dead.
That's true. That's true. One person one person living in the world right now, and one person. Well,
So what?
Jesus
in terms
is
of
alive.
okay, hold on.
That's true.
Jesus is alive.
So hold on, but you mean
But you
what's
can't
the
use
question?
Jesus.
Then? Can you?
Jesus,
Man, you can't use
nobody
Jesus,
can use. You can't use Jesus.
So can you
Elijah.
use the question? Do you know?
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
He didn't die.
No, you can't
He
use
didn't
it.
die.
You can't.
He didn't die.
Elijah.
Elijah, Enoch didn't die.
They're
That's a
not
good
here.
point.
He said
This is a good point.
living.
This is a good point.
Living on earth.
Okay. Well,
What was the question
So I
again?
think-
Oh yeah.
So you mentioned what? So we are each going to mention two people that we revere and respect, that sacrificed to become, something big, successful. So two people, one person like in the world, it could be an actor, musician, podcast, or whatever, and another person biblically, somebody from the Bible.
All right. I have actually.
Let Mr. Promise go.
Okay, go on.
Okay. I had two interesting, but
Go on. Just go, man.
I'll pick one. So for me, it was it's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Mm.
And the reason why-
That's a good one.
The reason why-
That's a
good one.
The reason why, because it ties so much into sacrifice.
That's a good one.
That's a
I think-
good one.
I think when this guy came on the scene,
That's a good one.
I think sometimes we often forget that the guy that is playing for
He's like
38.
he's like 38,
How old is he?
and he's like 38, and,
39.
and footballers' career ends around 35, 36.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking elite footballers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this guy is playing at a relatively high level, right? Because it's not as if in the Saudi league they've not imported a lot of really good
They've
players.
improved,
They have.
yeah.
They've improved the league
Yeah,
quite
they've
significantly.
Highest goal scorer ever in football history,
Yeah.
by the way.
So
Highest in football
So
history.
when we talk about sacrifice, if you think of the like
Yeah.
you just mentioned a point, the record was kind of
Mhm.
scale. Obviously, I'm sure he had it somewhere in his mind. I'm going to be top goal scorer
Yeah.
because we've known Pele as top goal scorer for many years,
For a
like
long time,
decades.
yeah.
There are footballers that have come before him, top strikers. I mean, people that once they touch the ball, it's a goal. But when you hear this guy talk about what he does consistently from a very young age, what he's foregone, because he's what, a billionaire.
Is he a billionaire?
Yes, because he's made so much money from sports
Yeah.
that you don't
Endorsement.
that you don't even realize how wealthy this guy is. But he's doing so much and carrying so much on his shoulders that he has sacrificed self for that greater purpose. And then that's why this guy can now play 37, 38, 39 football and he's still going. A lot of people might think, oh, yeah, okay, I'm 20 now. I'm going to want to start playing. But are you ready to pay that price though? So for me, he's definitely somebody that I think if you're thinking of the embodiment of sacrifice to get where you want to be, that's one person.
But hold on, before Cristiano Ronaldo, yeah, before Cristiano was Cristiano Ronaldo, which was so interesting in regards to sacrifices. Like not apparently, you guys you know him better probably, so you have to help me in terms of history, right? So there was this one game, and that game was actually leading him to become a professional footballer, and he was playing with his best friend, or they were both in one team, and who scored the most goals was the one who would have gone into become a professional, right? And that one person he was playing with, they were like 1-1. I think both scored like 2 goals and stuff like that, right? And that was the last minute, the last few minutes before the game ended. Now his friend decided, instead of scoring the goal, he decided to pass the goal to Cristiano Ronaldo, and then he passed it, and Cristiano Ronaldo scored the goal, and then he became a professional footballer. And then Cristiano went to his friend and asked him, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Yeah, because I know you're a better footballer than me. So you have to go and become a footballer." And because of that, Cristiano Ronaldo decided he has never forgotten that word, yeah? Now he became rich and he took care of his friend. What a story.
That's crazy. And that's kind of like, I think obviously
what a story.
That's a very that story before.
That's a very this
no,
one.
Go on. Like,
I'll check it.
Yeah, check. That's obviously it's like showing a lot about we're talking. I think last week we spoke about character, right? To some degree, that shows a lot about character. So you have sacrificed your character. So these are the hallmarks of somebody who's become, where he is now, and it's not by chance. It's not by luck or anything. There is, because when he came into the United team, he was playing against Wayne Rooney. I mean, Wayne Rooney at the time was, you know what I mean? Yeah. Prime time Rooney, 16 years old. You're not playing that guy. He's unplayable. So coming into that team, he's playing with other people in the big players. He's playing against Van Nistelrooy was on the team. He's playing Ferdinand. So these are big names. For you to still come and shine in Alex Ferguson's Man U, and then he's gone and played for Real Madrid. He's gone and played for Juventus, and everywhere he goes, he brings his team along. He wins trophies. Even the one with Portugal made them European champions. That alone that's one of the things you could see, that this guy is not carrying just his own personal ambition. He's carrying like the dreams and hope of an entire nation on his shoulders, and he's happy to. Yeah. That's why. This is why in the World Cup when they subbed him off, you can see the passion. He's crying. He's not crying because he's crying because he knows that chance is gone. He doesn't have a chance to prove at that level that he's going to be playing at that level. That's why he's crying.
Well, how does a person sustain that kind of hunger? Because it means that he hasn't been satisfied yet.
It's not.
Right? Because he's still hungry. That means of all the things that we would call like success metrics, none of those things are actually filling the gap are filling that hunger. So what is the hunger for?
Everybody that has spoken about him, everybody, if you can go on YouTube and just type footballers talk about Ronaldo. Everybody, they always talk about the amount of work he puts in. You always hear, when they make the comparison, Messi against Ronaldo, everybody says, Messi is God's gift. Ronaldo is manufactured. Everybody talks about the hard work. Like even when he went to Manchester United early on, he was scrawny. They used to Roy Keane, Paul Scholes said at the time they used to tackle him hard in training, because when he came to United, he was 18 at the time. 17. He was scrawny, he was skinny, and he used to do a lot of skills and stuff. And English football, they used to kick him. So you can do that. So he hired a dietitian, hired a personal trainer, and started working on his body. Over time, he's the first. Now he said, they'll come to training. He'll be the first in training, the last to leave. So, and I think something that sustains that hunger is its foundation. It's foundation. There's something that happened in foundation that that made it. I feel like it's a foundational decision that he made from young. There's an interview he was doing. They asked him about his son. His son was in the crowd as well. Because his son plays football too. His firstborn was in the crowd. Ronaldo was on stage, seated. I think it was an Oxford interview. Something they were asking. So they asked him that, Cristiano Jr., you know, he plays football, whatever.
No pressure, by the way.
Do you think he can be like you? And Ronaldo was like, to be honest, he doesn't think he can be like me. In front of his son. I think it's good. He puts in the work, but I don't think he can be like me, because even little things like when we are at home, he wants to drink soda. I tell him, why you drinking soda? That at his age, these were things I had to cut out.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's what I'm telling you.
Little sacrifices like that.
But now he's gotten the money.
Yeah.
He's gotten the houses.
Gotta stay humble.
He's the highest goal scorer. He's gotten everything. Why are you still playing?
The World Cup.
That's the thing.
That's the only thing I can think of.
But that could actually be good.
That's
I
though.
think if Ronaldo, if Portugal had won the World Cup in the last World Cup,
Yeah.
I think Ronaldo could relax and say like,
Eat a chocolate bar.
I think
done.
that's
Because
very true.
Because even I remember after they won the Euros, like after they won the Euros, like, yeah, this is good. I've won the Euros, but you could tell there's that trophy. There's something missing.
Let me even buttress on that. That's a very good point. I think one thing that beefs his hunger still is something to always aspire to.
Yeah.
So once he says that he doesn't chase records anymore, records chase him. He's worked to that point. He doesn't chase records anymore. Records chase him. I think, irrespective of whatever success he whatever new thing he breaks, he always has something to aspire to. And I think also on the chase of success, you must have somebody you look at as a rival that helps your hunger.
We should definitely talk about that.
And that is Lionel Messi.
Having a rival,
healthy
someone that's
competition.
healthy
And I think Lionel Messi,
50 said something like that.
and I think Lionel Messi is that person for him.
Yeah.
I think he hears what everybody says. When people say, nah, Messi is better, Messi has won everything, I think that, it annoys him because he's somebody that strives to be the best. So I think, he always has something to aspire to. Like, damn, I know this guy is not better than me, man. I know this dude is not better than me. So he has,
So you guys are taking my guy too much. What's your guy?
He said it biblically. He just said it
Just very quickly, just double up on what you said. I think that's an important point, right?